In this video, we will unravel the mysteries of Iraq's historical position in the Bible and future catastrophes. Iraq, a nation steeped in rich history and profound cultural significance, is home to ancient cities like Ur, Babylon, and Nineveh. This land, known as Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers, is often celebrated as the cradle of civilization. Here, human history took its first steps, marked by the rise of agriculture, writing, and complex societies. Mesopotamia holds a particularly sacred place in religious tradition as the birthplace of Abraham, a patriarch revered in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It is within this fertile and historically significant region that biblical narratives unfold, revealing God's early interactions with humanity. Stories like the Garden of Eden, often considered the birthplace of mankind, and the Tower of Babel, which symbolizes human ambition and divine intervention, deeply intertwine with the geography of Iraq. The prophetic journeys of figures such as Jonah, who ventured to Nineveh to deliver God's message of repentance, further emphasize Iraq's central role in the narrative of divine revelation. The land itself, dotted with archaeological remnants of ancient temples and religious sites, serves as a tangible link to these foundational stories, creating a landscape rich with spiritual significance. The spread of Christianity in Iraq can be traced back to these ancient landscapes, where the early Christian communities discovered fertile ground to cultivate the gospel message. The apostles and early missionaries traversed these regions, carrying their teachings into areas steeped in the influences of ancient religions such as Zoroastrianism, pagan practices, and the rich traditions of Judaism. One of the earliest and most significant Christian centers in this area was the city of Edessa, known today as Şanlıurfa in modern-day Turkey. Edessa emerged as a vibrant cultural and religious hub, serving as a beacon from which Christian ideas proliferated into the surrounding Mesopotamian cities, including those within present-day Iraq. Legend holds that King Abgar of Edessa famously wrote a letter to Jesus, beseeching him for healing and expressing a desire for conversion for his people. While this account is not explicitly recorded in the canonical scriptures, it is preserved in early Christian writings and reflects the openness of the region to the transformative teachings of Christianity. This narrative highlights the deep-seated connections between the local leadership and the emerging faith, emphasizing the gradual assimilation of Christian beliefs into the cultural fabric of Mesopotamia. As the first few centuries unfolded, Christianity established profound roots in Iraq through the formation of the Church of the East, also known as the Nestorian Church. Centered near modern Baghdad in Seleucia Ctesiphon, this church grew rapidly, extending its reach eastward and establishing dioceses across Persia, India, and even into the far reaches of China. The Iraqi Christian community played a pivotal role in the realm of theological education, founding schools and producing a wealth of religious texts. Despite its geographical distance from the western centers of the Roman Empire, the Church of the East flourished as a prominent institution, cultivating its unique traditions and theological perspectives. Under Persian rule, the Church of the East exhibited remarkable resilience and adaptability, coexisting with Zoroastrianism and managing to navigate the complexities of a multicultural society. This ability to integrate while preserving its identity facilitated the Church's expansion and strengthened its influence throughout the region. The vibrant tapestry of religious life in Iraq became a testament to the coexistence of diverse faiths, where scholars and theologians from various backgrounds engaged in dialogue and exchange. The advent of Islam in the 7th century marked a significant transformation for Iraq's Christian communities. Under Islamic rule, Christians were granted protected status as people of the book, a term used in the Quran to refer to Jews and Christians. Although this status came with certain restrictions and limitations, it allowed Christians to maintain their faith and enjoy a degree of self-governance. This period of relative freedom enabled Iraq's Christians to contribute significantly to the broader society, especially during the Islamic Golden Age. Baghdad, emerging as a vibrant center of learning and culture, became home to the esteemed House of Wisdom, Beit al-Hikmah, where Christian, Muslim, and Jewish scholars collaborated to translate and preserve ancient Greek texts. These translations laid the groundwork for advances in Islamic philosophy, medicine, mathematics, and various sciences. Among the notable figures of this period was Hunayn ibn Ishaq, a Christian scholar and physician whose extensive translations and writings left a lasting impact on the medical sciences and further bridged the gap between cultures. His contributions exemplified the intermingling of faith and knowledge that characterized this golden age of enlightenment. Despite their significant contributions to society and culture during the Islamic Golden Age, Iraqi Christians faced numerous challenges, particularly as religious and political dynamics shifted. The pressures to convert to Islam increased, and various Christian practices were subjected subjected to restrictions. Yet, the Christian faith endured, showcasing the resilience of communities like the Assyrians and Chaldeans, who preserved their language, customs, and religious traditions. These groups played a crucial role in passing down their heritage, adapting to changing times while holding steadfast to their beliefs. The 13th and 14th centuries brought some of the most severe trials for Iraq's Christian communities with the invasions of the Mongols. For almost 600 years, Christianity thrived under Islamic governance, contributing to a culture rich in learning and religious tolerance. However, the Mongol conquests, led by Genghis Khan's descendants, culminated in the capture of Baghdad in 1258, marking the end of the Abbasid Caliphate and resulting in widespread devastation for Iraq's Christian population. Initially, the Mongols exhibited tolerance towards Christians, allowing them to practice their faith. However, the situation drastically deteriorated following the conversion of Ghazan Khan to Islam in 1295. Conditions worsened as massacres, forced conversions, and the destruction of Christian neighborhoods became alarmingly commonplace. Many Christians sought refuge in northern Iraq, where the mountainous terrain offered a haven from persecution, establishing new communities in cities like Mosul. Even in the face of near-total destruction, Iraqi Christians continued to hold clandestine services, preserve their manuscripts, and safeguard their faith within these enclaves. This period of suffering and resilience mirrored the early Roman persecution of Christians, reinforcing a legacy of endurance that would echo through the centuries. The 20th century brought new challenges for Iraq's Christian community under Saddam Hussein's regime. The Baathist government, with its secular ideology, granted Iraqi Christians a degree of freedom rarely seen in other parts of the Middle East. Hussein recognized the Christian population as integral to Iraq's social fabric, and many Christians occupied prominent roles in government, academia, and healthcare. However, this tolerance was conditional. Any perceived disloyalty could lead to dire consequences. Christians were under constant surveillance, and their church activities were meticulously monitored to ensure compliance with state directives. The Gulf War in the 1990s, coupled with years of economic sanctions, created a precarious environment for Christians, prompting many to emigrate from Iraq in search of safety and stability. The 21st century ushered in an era of crisis unparalleled in modern history. The 2003 U.S. invasion of Iraq exacerbated existing tensions and led to a rise in sectarian violence. With the fall of Hussein's regime, extremist militias gained control in various regions, targeting Christians with brutal violence and forcing widespread displacement. By the early 2000s, Iraq's Christian population, which had once exceeded 1 million, diminished significantly as families fled persecution, seeking refuge abroad. The situation reached a tragic zenith with the rise of ISIS in 2014, whose campaign of terror wrought havoc on Christian communities, particularly in the Nineveh plains. Christians were confronted with an ultimatum: convert to Islam, pay a crippling tax, or face death. Many families fled to Erbil in Iraqi Kurdistan, where they found temporary shelter in makeshift camps. Despite the overwhelming displacement and trauma, Iraqi Christians demonstrated an unwavering commitment to preserving their faith, identity, and traditions in exile. Recent efforts to restore Iraq's Christian heritage have garnered international attention and support. Organizations such as the Knights of Columbus and Aid to the Church in Need have dedicated themselves to rebuilding churches, schools, and homes in the Nineveh plains. These initiatives aim to restore a sense of normalcy and hope to communities that have endured immense suffering. While these restoration efforts provide a glimmer of hope, the future remains uncertain for Iraq's Christian population, which has been significantly diminished and scattered by decades of war and persecution. Today, Iraq's Christians represent a fraction of what they once were, yet their determination to preserve the legacy of their faith and cultural heritage remains steadfast. Their presence serves as a living testament to the endurance of a faith that has weathered invasions, conquests, and persecution across millennia. The restoration of churches, the preservation of sacred texts, and the continuation of liturgical traditions symbolize the unwavering commitment of Iraq's Christians to keep the light of the gospel alive in the land of its origins. Even in the face of unimaginable hardship and uncertainty, their story is one of resilience, unwavering faith, and hope for the future, a reminder that the spirit of Christianity endures, rooted in the rich tapestry of Iraq's ancient heritage.